Welcome to Uncomfortable Growth, the podcast where we get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. This is a space for real conversations about growth in all the places life stretches us, because growth doesn't only happen when things are going well, because sometimes growth looks like we're barely surviving. If you ever felt like growth was harder than you expected, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's conversation.
So welcome.
Thank you.
you.
We're super excited.
So I always ask two questions when we start a podcast. And the first question I ask is, whatever profession you're in, what is the one thing that has been the most uncomfortable thing that has happened to you in your profession, which is real estate? And how did it help you grow? And no fluff. Like, I don't want to hear like, oh, well, changing brokerages. Well, that was probably my biggest
that one
one.
is super uncomfortable, actually. You know what? Actually, so changing the brokerage was not the uncomfortable part. The uncomfortable part was after the change.
Yes.
That was uncomfortable.
How?
It was uncomfortable because I think, and I don't want to be negative in any way to where I came from, but it was negative in that I realized I lost some what I thought were important relationships in my life simply because of where my license was held. And it was hurtful. It was hurtful. And uncomfortable because in small communities, you are still running in similar circles. You are still having to book showings and have conversations and negotiate deals and see each other's children. And that's really uncomfortable. So where the growth came from that was, I think, letting go a little bit of that had nothing to do with me. And being okay for my own success and being okay for my own strength. And then also really allowing me and giving me permission to be super excited for other people's success and other people's growth and watching that. So I think for me, the uncomfortable part, the aftermath of choosing to leave, I would never go back, and I don't regret my choice whatsoever. But the uncomfortable part became the loss of some relationships and navigating that.
And it's funny how that uncomfortable part, I think all of us who have left brokerages and teams, we've all kind of experienced that uncomfortableness. But if we would have stayed complacent because we were worried about getting uncomfortable, the growth would have never happened. And that's what this podcast is totally about. Like, it sucks to get uncomfortable. I'm sure it was many sleepless nights. Our stories are similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's so uncomfortable, and wondering, and the anxiety, and what are people thinking, and the assumptions that are made without the conversation.
Oh, 1,000%. I think people in general storytell. And I think part of that is because we know the beginning of a story and we know the end of a story, but we don't necessarily know the middle. Our brains are actually wired to fill in the gap. That's something we've learned. And unless you're going to ask people about that gap, your brain is going to create its own version of reality, even though it might not be. So,
and I think that's a thing that we all need to do better as human beings, is not being afraid to have that conversation, right? Like, wouldn't it have been easier if those relationships that were lost, maybe life would have drifted us in a different way. Maybe it would have happened anyways, but it could have been those relationships lost with love, kindness, and respect, instead of making the assumption that, you were out to steal people and you were out to do all of these things that people made assumptions, which wasn't the case at all. If that conversation could have happened, yes, it would have been uncomfortable to have that conversation, but the end result would have been so much more peaceful, kind, loving. Like, there still could be that, I don't even know what to call it, but there still could be that sense of, okay, this is okay.
Yeah. And honestly, it is okay.
It is okay.
It is okay. And I don't know if this is just specific to our industry, because I think if I worked at Walmart, for example, and I was friends with all the cashiers at Walmart, and I loved my store manager at Walmart, and I, was happy to help the guy get the carts out of the parking lot. And then I left my job at Walmart to go work at Zehrs because it was going to pay me more money and the hours were going to be better and they were going to open my world to a whole new, way of working. I don't know that the Walmart people would have been like, you're dead to us.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's so true, right? Like that opportunity, like you should be excited for the growth potential, and whether or not people agree, or maybe they're getting, everybody's chapter is different. So maybe they're getting growth where they are and they're feeling that they can excel where they are, and that's fine to stay.
Mm-hmm.
But in your situation, you felt that there was so much more opportunity at EXP.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan, obviously. Like the training, the resources, the marketing, the brand building, the way they support you of growing your own brand and do the things that drive you. EXP is more than just being a real estate. They truly are supporting entrepreneurs to take their real estate business wherever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So that lit you up and is going to excel your business. And you are an incredible agent who I respect and look up to and call for advice often.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that lit you up. The people you work with should be excited for that and be willing to have that, like, wow, yeah, go crush it. And I'll see you on the other. And maybe one day they love what you're doing and want to join, or maybe they're happy where they are and you're cheering for them. And that's how it should be.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's you're uncomfortable, Amy.
I'd say I'm a woman of tradition, and I think for me it was, similar in the sense of small town going to a cloud-based company. So with that, it was I've always loved Jen, but I think for me it was okay. I knew I'd be fine with the jump, but it was the sense of okay, am I going to lose business when I'm going from that tradition to the cloud-based?
Mhm.
And that quickly, I can we like stop this and go back? Can we like can we?
No, this is live. We're on Instagram right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. So I'm glad you can clip that out. But so I think for me, the challenge, okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Not the challenge, but okay, this is the uncomfortable.
Yes. What is
Okay.
the one thing that made you super uncomfortable that
Okay.
you still did, but
Okay.
has really made you grow?
Okay. So, all right. So, super uncomfortable for me. I am a woman that is of tradition. And I think for me, it was going from what I knew.
Mhm.
And I only was at one brokerage before EXP. So, going from a traditional small town brokerage to EXP cloud based was a bit nerve wracking. But that quickly changed when I picked up the phone, because I am a phone person, and called to make sure there was that support right away. I'm sure they thought I was a little crazy, but right away I felt at home.
Mhm.
And Natty Habib had made me feel that way. So she was a managing broker at that time. And I thought, okay, I was only uncomfortable for a short while,
Yeah.
but I felt good on the move.
Well, the support system, that's one thing. And I'm going to go back to your uncomfortable moment. But while we're on the topic of having the right support, cloud-based brokerage, super nerve-wracking. The support that I have with EXP, like we have 5 broker records that are accessible to us. At
One broker record.
or
5
managing broker
brokers. There you go.
records. So 1 broker of record and then 5 managing broker, but we have access to them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like I've worked at other brokerages where I needed to get a hold of a broker or a managing broker or the broker of record because I had a question, and it would be 2 days before I get a response.
Mhm.
We have it instantly. EXP World is my favorite tool. It's funny, I was actually just talking to an agent that she's been with EXP for about 6 months and she'd never used EXP World. And I was like, oh my God, it's my favorite. I'm in there every day when I'm trying to figure out my icon, when I'm trying to figure out my transaction. If I'm writing an offer correctly, I go in there and I ask, and there's always somebody available. There's more support, I find,
Mhm.
now than what I ever had when I was working at a traditional, and my brokerages, that's not a slam against my brokerage. They had amazing things as well. However, the accessibility to people within EXP, people like, oh, there's nobody there. There's no brick and mortar. How do you get help? I have more help now than what I have ever had in real estate.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yes. Couldn't agree more. I think we're we're so fortunate, and we really do have something that other people are not offering.
Hmm.
And we don't even just have like our managing brokers. Honestly, they are superstars in our daily business. We're so blessed by them. They're friendly, they're knowledgeable, they're experienced, they are by the book, and they're there to help us no matter what.
Yeah.
But we have, on top of those amazing superstars, we have other agents.
Oh, yeah.
We have other agents who are so open and willing to help guide and see us succeed.
Mhm.
Like that is massive. It's probably the missing piece that I think most realtors are missing in their day-to-day life,
Well, this
is
is
not
a
having
prime
that network.
this is a prime example.
Yeah.
You guys are in Drayton. You guys didn't know me at all before I came.
No,
You do not benefit off of me whatsoever.
never.
We're
Nope.
not in each other's downline. Yet I know, hands down, I could call either one of you if I was struggling or if I needed advice, and you both would pick up the phone always and help me, which is incredible in our industry. In any entrepreneur industry, in any sales industry, it's always competitive. And EXP breaks that cycle. It truly is collaboration over competition.
Everyone wants to see you be successful.
Yeah, everybody does. It like when you guys are winning, I'm like, yes. When I'm winning, you guys are like, yeah. You guys like my grand opening.
Mhm.
Agents came from all over. Like it's just so refreshing. I am obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
I think too, just back to that support piece,
Hmm.
we have support for every bit of tech
Yes.
that we're offered. We have so much transaction support. I will say the Sky Slope heroes, the transaction specialists, are it's a hard job. It's probably really a thankless job, but it really does, number one, hold us accountable, which is important for our clients, because when it comes down to contracts, it is our job to have them perfect. So number one, holds a higher level for our clients. But number two, it really does. If you don't want to keep fixing your Sky Slope file, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
You're going to get better at paperwork. You're going to get better at crossing your T's and dotting your I's. It is going to make you a better agent in general.
And just having the security that somebody is reviewing all of your stuff, right?
Mhm.
And really making sure that if you were to be audited as a realtor, that you are protected completely and that all of your paperwork is done correctly. Like it's just this today isn't about like rah EXP, but it really is EXP University. We have Canva Pro free to do all of our marketing. We can call anybody. The other day, we have a new agent onboarding, and we were at EXP Rally and we were creating her signs before everything. Andrew was sitting right there. I went over to him, sat down with him for 5 minutes. He went through, made sure her signs were compliant, and they're off getting printed instantly. It wasn't, I could send it to them. I could go into, like, it's just unbelievable. Okay, sorry, coming back to you.
Yeah.
So it made you uncomfortable because of the cloud base. It wasn't a traditional brokerage. Was it more so the uncomfortableness of not knowing how to navigate it, or what other people in the community would think, or what
I'd
was it?
say a combination of both, but more so how I was going to handle, because I say I'm not tech savvy, but there's always going to be someone that's better than you and someone who wishes they were in your position. So I would say for me, it was just a bit overwhelming of, okay, making sure I had everything under control,
Mhm.
like with the tech side of things.
And now being with EXP for how long?
2.5 years,
Okay.
3.5 years.
It goes fast when you're having fun, eh?
Yeah. So 3.5 years. It does fly by. Yes.
And if you had to comment on the tech side, as somebody who isn't tech savvy, would you find it was overwhelming? Like, would you
No.
say it's
No.
fairly?
Yes. It keeps you in the green.
Yeah, definitely. So now, taking that leap, how has doing that leap helped you grow to one of your biggest successes?
Yes. Yeah. No, last year was a record-breaking year, and I feel like this year may even break that record as well. So, I feel like, yes, you have to, in order to grow, you have to get uncomfortable, as you've said both many of times. But I think you have to go through that fear and really
I just think
push.
if you don't get uncomfortable, you're not going to grow.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've said this on multiple podcasts because I asked this question, but if you think of everything in life, working out, your muscles are growing, it's painful. When kids are growing, the babies, they get stretch marks, their bones hurt. Everything that requires growth is uncomfortable at some point. Like it's just the way of life. And it's just like sometimes you have to take that step back and be like, oh, I don't want to do that. What will they think? How will this happen? Oh, who am I going to upset? But then if you don't take that leap, I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys. And I never actually even introduced you guys.
Oh, yeah.
So let me introduce you guys. This is Jen, and this is Amy from the Renew team. They are top real estate agents and run a real estate team. Would I say I'm explaining that right? In Drayton.
Yeah.
Jen has been in real estate for how many years?
18 plus years.
Amy, you've been in real estate
15
for
plus.
15 plus years. So I would say you guys are legends in the industry. As somebody who's only been in it for 4 years, seeing what you guys have done, seeing the team that you've built, even the reputation I listed in Listawall, everybody knew who you guys were. Your signs, you guys are definitely doing it authentically, honestly, and kind. I've seen you work with clients, and the way you work with clients is just something that is so respected. You definitely both have a sense in the industry that I think can rub off on so many agents, new, old, just maybe even thinking about getting into it. And to be able to have that support as somebody who doesn't really benefit from it just shows both of your characters.
Well,
So
thank you.
thanks for coming on.
No,
When I
thank
know
you.
when I said to you, I want to record a podcast when you guys come up, you're like, yeah.
Sure.
So, okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about like the good, the bad, the ugly of being a real estate agent / business owner.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not just like, oh, I sell homes. It's actually a business you're running.
Yeah, that is, I think most people who get into real estate in general, that is what they are just so not prepared for. Like, they're not prepared for, you need an HST number. They're not prepared for, you need some sort of system to track your receipts and expenses. They are not prepared for the marketing side of our business that's required. They are not prepared for dealing with the social media part that really has kind of just become a bit of an industry standard.
Yeah.
And real estate school is great, but it is like theory. And because of the nature of real estate, first of all, every person is different, every house is different, every transaction is different.
Always.
So you can have as much theory as you want, but it is the practice and the boots on the ground learning that I think is the biggest value.
Yeah.
And I think most people are not prepared for that.
Yeah. It's a grind. I say this all the time. I've been in sales for 23 years, and the last 4 years, I don't think I've ever, and I've owned businesses and entrepreneurial, being a mom, like all of the things that come that are really hard things in life. I have never worked as hard as what I'm working right now.
I used to work 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And those 3 jobs did not equal the hours that real estate does. So.
That's a huge thing too, right? The
The
general
hours.
public seems to think, oh, real estate agents, let's talk about the uncomfortableness of money, the money we make.
Talk about money.
Nobody loves talking about money, but people seem to think, oh, you
have to
guys
sell
make
2 houses a year.
Yeah, you guys make so much money. You just put a for sale sign in.
Oh my gosh, can I tell you a funny story?
Yes, please.
So I had where our office is like it's on a main street and people walk by there. And I had a former client. He used to walk by every day. He's walking his dog and he'd pop in and he'd steal a lifesaver and say, "What's new in the market?" And this was a regular occurrence. And one day he came in with the dog, sat right down and got his lifesaver. And he's like, I think I have basically figured out how much money you've made this year, and you made a lot of money. And I was like, that is wild that we're having this conversation. This is what I'm thinking in my head. But I said to him, like, why? So tell me how you think I've made a ton of money. And just like, I have made a ton of money, but he doesn't know that. And he said, well, I just, kind of looked at the houses you sold and then did 5%. And then
Figure that out.
how much money you made. And then we need this education piece because this is honestly, and this is a past client of mine, this is the perception I think a lot of people have is that all the money goes to the agent. And the reality is let's use 5% as an example. Typically, if we're listing a house for 5%, we're most likely offering at least 2 or 2.5% to the other agent. So right there, half the money's gone. And then there is something called taxes. And right there,
Half of that's gone.
Right there, if you're making a lot of money, half of that's gone. And then we still have business expenses. We have licensing fees. We have insurance, errors and omissions insurance. We got to pay for gas. We got car payments. Oh, and by the way, most of us have families.
Yeah.
We are supporting ourselves. We are feeding children. We are also, especially if you're in real estate, contributing financially to a lot of sponsorships.
Oh, yeah.
And while it does appear that we are making 5% of every house that we sell, that is just simply not the truth. And I had to laugh with this gentleman and just say, like, that's so cute that you think I'm making that much money. But, when I've sold my chicken quota, which was his story, I said, we'll almost be even.
Well, it's so true because I actually do this in every listing consult. Every listing consult, I sit down and I go through the breakdown because you named a few things, but you forgot a few things
Oh,
too.
there's so many.
Let's talk about everything you put in. Like on average, once you pay, if you're hiring a good agent, professional photography, drone, floor plans, virtual tour,
Staging,
cleaning, windows, then decluttering, prepping. Then we have to do all of our marketing, mail campaigns, social media boosts, door knocking, all of that. Like every listing I list,
Open houses.
everything, you're probably looking at $8,000 to $10,000 per listing. Plus, we have to give our brokerage fees.
Yep.
Every brokerage is different, but they take a good chunk. Then we have to give half to the buying agent. Then we have to take off our taxes. Then we pay back our $8,000 to $10,000 we put into every listing. And guess what? If that doesn't sell, we're out that $8,000 to $10,000.
No guarantees.
Some homes are harder to sell. Some are easier to sell. So it's just like, no, we don't walk away with even, let's just say, half of that commission. We really walk away with maybe 1% by the time you are done.
Yeah.
And the amount of hours and time and having to answer your phone and people not understanding that if your cat dies and you don't answer your phone, not that I'm sensitive right now, and you don't answer your phone, they can't understand why, it took you that long to call back.
Yeah.
You always have to be on. It's, it doesn't matter what you're going through. And that doesn't even come close to the amount. People who make good money work very hard. People who, if you want a minimum wage job, you can still work very hard and get minimum wage as well. But you are not going to be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
No.
And setting those boundaries is difficult too, because people don't understand those boundaries. And then it can have people choose not to work with you. I truly feel that real estate, being a realtor, you are paid by how often you answer your phone. If you don't answer your phone, you are losing a deal.
I say it's a healthy obsession.
Yeah. Super healthy. Very healthy. You guys are catching me really on a bad day on healthy obsessions.
My husband, he'll joke and he'll say your paycheck is ringing.
Yeah. It's true. If we don't answer our phone, we don't get paid.
Yeah.
And there's days you just don't want to,
Yep.
but you have to, especially when you guys are running a team. You guys have an office. Same thing here. Like, it costs us money to have this office, to have accessibility for agents, to put, projectors and screens and all of the tools and the printers and all of the things that we have for the agent to run their business as successfully as possible. It costs out of our pocket.
Yeah.
So all of those things come into play, and it's, yes, we work our butts off, and yes, we do get paid very well, but it's not the perception, and so many people don't want to talk about it. So,
Yeah.
like, it's not just, hey, I make.
No, and there is, I mean, I have I'm incorporated. I have a prec, and
Mhm.
so that is another set of books. That is another accounting bill. That is a bookkeeping bill,
Yeah.
and it does. I mean, it does. Of course, the more you're making, the more things are getting complicated. The more you're spending, the more things are increasing. Like there is, different stages of your career where you're ramping up and ramping down.
Hmm.
But it's one of those things that when you get into real estate, nobody is talking to you about
Yes.
the financial side of it. And hey, when you are making good money, how do you manage that? And what do you do with that? And what are some smart strategies and some not so smart strategies? What are the hidden pitfalls to avoid? And those those resources are out there, but you might have to go digging for them depending on where you're working.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
Part-time agents.
Let's talk
Let's talk
part-time
about it.
agents.
I
We've
know.
never done it
y-
part-time.
Yeah, like, I know. I remember when I first got into real estate, it was like I was traveling and I was constantly gone. Constantly. I was traveling all over Canada teaching people how to sell. That was my job before I got into real estate. And I said to myself, I'm missing my kids. I'm missing seeing them grow up. I want to do a job, and I'm going to kind of take a step back. I'm going to slow down a bit. I'm going to really take a breath. I'm going to sell, one house a month, 12 a year, and I'm going to actually have time for my family. And yeah, really, like, not retire, but really take a breath. Not be part time. I'll be all in, but I'm really going to slow down. And then I got into it,
Mhm.
and I realized whether I'm selling one home or I'm selling 50 homes, it is the exact same amount of work because I have to build, because I came from the spa industry as well. I was known as the beauty girl, ditzy blonde beauty girl. Like, I needed to be taken seriously in this industry. I needed to create a marketing campaign. I had to show clients that I could market their properties, that I was good, that I was going to be different, that I had the knowledge and the background. So being able to build that to get people to actually work with you, it didn't matter if it was 1 or 20. If you're only going to do one, I personally think it is so hard with the fees and the cost it is to be an agent,
Mhm.
your licensing, your RICO, your board fees, like your marketing, your branding. Like, it costs a lot to be an agent.
Yeah.
To only sell 2, which is so unrealistic, 6 houses a year, it's not worth it.
No, it's really not. If you're only going to sell a couple of houses a year.
Do it
I
as a
mean,
hobby.
the thing is, I just don't think real estate is a hobby.
No.
And I think the stakes are too high for buyers and sellers
Mhm.
to have somebody represent you who isn't keeping up on industry standards, who isn't following market trends, who isn't in the weeds, so to speak, to be the one guiding and counseling you on the biggest investments in your life.
And that's the other thing is, like, when you look at sitting down with a client and they need your help, right? They want your dedication. Be like, oh, well, 9 to 5, I'm working here. I work at Bruce Power. I don't, but I work at Bruce Power 9 to 5. So in the evenings, I'm available. Or when you have that person that's calling that wants to write that offer, like, you need to always be available. So how is that as somebody who's hiring the agent? It's like that part-time agent, or you hire a family friend because she just got into it, but she's still working because she's not afraid to get uncomfortable and take the leap because how do I go without that paycheck? Right? That's why most agents,
It's the tension.
the tension of not having that paycheck. I've got to build something for 3 to 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
The work you put in today or tomorrow pays off actually 3 months down the road.
Yeah.
So it's really scary and super uncomfortable to jump into real estate. And I couldn't imagine if I jumped into it at 19. Like it would have been hard,
Mm-hmm.
but it would have been doable.
You have anything to say on this? Part-time agents?
I think, well, my kids always remind me, Mom, your Google is set for 24/7, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I just think that you can't, if you want to, and everyone's success level is different.
Yeah.
I just think it's not fair to your clients. Like, hey, I'm on my 5 or 8 hour shift and I can't attend to you. Like, if
Mhm.
an offer comes in, we have to deal with it. We
Mhm.
can't just wait till our lunch break or something like that.
Yeah.
We have to deal with it. So I just think that part-time is not an option for our teams. Like you need to be full-time at it.
I think once you get into it and you realize how much work it is, you realize like, holy man, I have to be all in. Because I thought like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna. It was never part time for me, but it was still like it's gonna be easy. It's gonna be,
Mm.
I'm gonna have to work, but I can have dinner with my kids every night. Well, sometimes you don't get to have dinner with your kids, but you have to build something. You have to build that, like you have to market and you have to show your value, because again, there's deals that you do make really good money. And if I'm paying for a service that I'm going to pay somebody, even just say if I'm paying somebody $10,000 for a service, I expect a $10,000 service,
Level of service, yeah.
right? Like it's just like, well, you don't just actually get to come and put a for sale sign and take pictures with your phone and do a quick write up that you popped into AI that had no thought into it at all.
Those agents probably aren't even using AI. If they're
Probably.
taking cell phone pictures,
Yeah.
they're not using AI.
And it's just like, it just is such a disservice, I find. Now, I do get like, as you're starting out, there is different levels and it is scary. I actually have an agent that works with me very closely and she does have another job as well. But she is 100% committed on her off time as well. There's a lot of hours in the day where if you come in and you say, hey, I'm only can work these hours, I don't think you're going to make it in real estate.
No, I have a famous one-liner. I always say, I work when you don't. Because
Mhm.
people do ask me regular, like, so what are your hours? Like, is it, can we go see a house in the evening? And I'm like, yes, please. Because if you do not have a job, then you do not qualify for financing. And then we do not need to be looking at houses.
Yeah.
And so we do have this weird schedule.
Yeah.
Where we are really when everyone says I'm getting into real estate to make my own schedule, baloney. You are literally working around everyone else's schedule. You're working around other sellers' schedules. You're working around your clients' schedules. You're working around your kids' schedules.
Yeah.
You are working around everyone else's schedule except for your own. I do think there's strategies to manage your schedule well.
Yeah.
But I do think the concept of you're setting the schedule, and so therefore you're in charge of your hours, is not possible, and also be delivering a high level of service to your clients.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you are not providing that service, to your point, if you're paying for a $10,000 service, you expect $10,000 service, not $5,000 service.
And that's the thing is, in sales, everybody remembers the bad.
Yes.
People don't talk about the good. They'll say, "Oh, I had a great realtor. You should call her. You should try her." That's it. But if you have a bad real estate agent, everybody knows.
Yeah.
So, like your referrals and your client retention is so important. Making sure that client, otherwise you're not going to grow.
Mhm.
And then they tell 10 people, "Don't hire them." You guys have heard me complain about certain situations where it's like, don't do this or this situation. And it does create a sense of, I would say judgment, but like a bad taste in your mouth that you're not going to call that agent to interview them because, oh, Sally said it was an awful experience.
Oh, yeah. You got to stay out of the coffee shop talk.
Yeah.
especially in small, like we are all working in very small communities.
Yeah.
And we maybe don't know everyone, but somebody knows somebody
Who knows somebody?
who knows somebody. And if we only want our clients having great
Great.
service and great experiences. We don't control every aspect of an experience. I mean, we can't control when people are late or what offer they bring or when they don't bring an offer, things like that. But for the most part, we want our clients to have great experiences. And if we have to work extra hard for that, then we'll work extra hard for that. None of us, especially, we are not afraid to pull up our sleeves, get in the trenches, and do what needs to get done.
Yeah.
And that
have
has
that
contributed.
flexibility too.
Yes.
You were going to be at 5, but now we're going to 6:30. No problem. We never have clients without.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a service-based industry.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding. Like seeing somebody get the home that they want is like the best feeling. Or being able to call and say like, hey, you got it. Like it's the best feeling, and to be able to help them through their biggest decisions.
Mhm.
There's a lot of emotion in it, right? Like we're dealing with estates and divorce, and we're dealing with families and first-time home buyers and mom and dads wanting to protect their kids and them having like there's so many different emotions in real estate. It's like all the time. And to get to ride that with somebody is amazing, that they trust you enough to be available for them too. Like it's just there's days
Sometimes the ride's not great. Like Amy just had a ride. She was on the ride. She was with this client 100% on the ride.
right.
And the ride was sad.
Oh yeah.
And the ride
Yeah.
was sad.
I can get crying over some situations, but that client still was very grateful for me and
Yes.
still gave me a gift, and it didn't go the route they wanted to, but that was beyond my control. And I was, driving when I received that call, and they wanted me like yesterday, and I jumped as quickly as I could.
And that though, like the ride was sad, but the fact that they cared about you enough, like that ride, like I'm all about human connection, and I'm all about kindness, and all about, I really believe we're put on this planet to help people.
For sure.
Good or bad, we are here. And if we don't help each other, what type of world are we living in?
Yeah.
And the fact that you get to help, whether it ended in the right result, you are still compassionate enough to be there, to cry with your clients, to fight for your clients, to be frustrated for your client. Like there's days where it's like, but there's days where it's like, wow, like I get to do this with them. And I feel like 99% of my clients I walk away with, and they genuinely become friends. Yes, we're busy and life happens and you're not seeing them like you did, but you still genuinely care about how they're doing in life.
And it is really a privilege to do this job.
Yeah,
It is
really
a privilege to be invited into someone's home, to have them be, here's my dream.
Yeah.
And then for us to help them however we can achieve that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't get to have that experience in their job.
Yeah.
And we are rewarded for that, in not just financially, but in our hearts and in our spirits. And that gives us energy for the next one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're community based, right? So I always say to my kids, you take care of the community, they will always take care of you.
Yeah,
So
I like that. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The community is like, support your community, support local, give back, help people. Like I always say to my kids, always be kind. You never know what like every day from the day they've left since kindergarten, they leave my car and I say, have a great day, but always be kind. Remember, somebody else could be struggling with something you don't understand. Every single day. Because I truly believe if you are a kind person, you might not be a millionaire, but you will be okay in life. You will always be okay in life if you choose kindness first.
Listen, money doesn't always bring happiness.
No, it doesn't.
And we are in a world right now where people are quick to judge.
Oh, yeah.
And fill in that gap. Remember that?
Yeah.
Renee
Brown.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. He explains it just so well. He's like, that middle part of the story that we don't think to ask about,
Mm-hmm.
that we assume.
Yeah.
He calls it the ass gap
Yeah.
because it will make an ass out of you,
Right.
you know? And I think a lot of people spend a lot of time in that gap. And honestly, it kind of makes them an ass.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Brene Brown,
Mm-hmm.
she talks about being vulnerable about that gap.
Yeah.
And sometimes asking those questions is releasing vulnerability to be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm doing. And it's uncomfortable to be vulnerable. It's uncomfortable to fill in that gap. But having those conversations is just, it's always going to bring you ahead of the game. It's always
Oh,
going to calm everything down and help you propel forward.
And
Like
being genuine.
being genuine. Absolutely. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So where are we? Okay, we're okay. Being a real estate agent is very time consuming.
Yep.
Both of you are moms. I'm a mom as well. How has being a realtor affected in a good and a bad way? I wouldn't say bad, in an uncomfortable way. Um, your family, and how has it helped your family too? Like, have you seen it actually like inspire your kids and frustrate your kids at the same time?
Oh, you can take it first. I'll take it second.
Yeah, well, my kids have only known me to be in real estate for work. So, and I have two daughters. So I think it's so important for them to see how women can handle their own.
Hmm.
I am in love with my husband. He's amazing. But he knows too, mom's good, right? She's strong. And I grew up, with not a lot of money. So I think for that, like I always thought, I'm not gonna have my kids, going to the food bank ever or anything like that. Like, you know, I want them to be able to eat,
Hmm.
whatever. And for my girls, like horse is very important to them. And yes, I would like to be there with them, but I know I have family that, grandma can help out, dad can be there too. We don't all have to be there watching you. Like, let's divide and conquer. So, my girls are very grateful for the life that we've provided for them, but they understand the hustle is real, but they know mom would be there for anybody at any time. So
Hmm.
I see my girls and I get compliments from the teachers on how amazing they are. And I'm very proud of that. So um, we love what we do. And that's
Hmm.
when I said a healthy obsession. It's hard to like, slow down because you're helping so many people.
Hmm.
And the most important is their family. We're
Yeah.
helping our family and setting them up for success too. So
They get to see the grind, right? Like they get to see the answering of the calls and always being available, but they get to be a part of it. Like they
yeah, and
see,
they go in that schedule.
yeah, which is incredible. How about you?
I would say that, and especially for any woman or man who is raising little children in this career, number one, it does get easier as they get older and more independent. And this career is really tough on marriages.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the divorce rate with realtors is really skyrocketed. So we really want to stay married to our men, and we appreciate them so much for supporting us in our dreams. But it's difficult. It is the demands on our time and the unpredictability of our schedule sometimes
Yeah.
can be a challenge. Um, in terms of my kids, none of my children, I don't think, are going to be realtors. Um,
What? Why?
I know it's crazy, but they also have both parents who were running their own businesses. So very entrepreneurial, spirited. I would say our kids have really learned a great lesson on money management, hard work, saving.
Yeah.
And so those I think are really valuable lessons for children.
Yeah, for sure.
And also they have seen, really the more you put in, the more you can get out,
Mhm.
right? And I think our kids have learned a lot about the value of real estate and how that can impact not just your today and how you're living comfortably in your nice new house with your pretty things, but also the financial wealth that it can create.
Yeah.
Um, we have financial security
Mhm.
partially because of how hard mom and dad work,
Yeah.
and because we are a service-based industry, there will always be a need. There's always going to be people buying and selling houses, no matter what the market is, no matter what the interest rate is, no matter what the weather is, no matter who the prime minister is or the president of the United States. Like, this is a service that is never going to be gone.
Yeah.
And it's been a tough journey, honestly. It's hard work, but if you love it, which I do,
You can tell.
it makes it that much nicer.
Amazing.
And I think, honestly, I think both of our kids, because I know obviously the girls, I think our children know that we have a passion for this.
Yeah.
Like, we do love what we do.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for our kids also to see, like, hey, go after your dreams. What is your passion?
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's going to be hard, it's probably going to pay off.
I think if you are obsessed with anything, no matter what it is, if there's something that lights you up, there is a way you can turn it into a business.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. I say that to my boys. I'm actually, my 16-year-old, he's right now like, oh, I got to figure out what I'm doing for university. And I'm like, I didn't go to university. I went to college, and it took me a couple times, and I went back to school 3 times. And I'm just like, buddy, whatever it is that lights you up, we are so caught in a world where the status quo is you go to school, you study, you do this, you go to work, you do a job, you get paid, you go home, you pay your mortgage, you do your bills, and you move on. But I just think there's so much more to life than that. And I think my big takeaway with my kids is I want them to see that if you work hard and you love something and you obsess over something and it lights you up, you can think outside of the box on a way that whatever it is that's lighting you up can help other people, and you can turn that into a business.
For sure.
No matter what it is. It can be coaching, it can be the spa, it can be a gamer, it can be somebody who creates coding and systems and an accountant. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always a way, but as long as you do something that truly makes you happy, and that can change. And that's the thing.
And it will change.
It's okay
The
to change.
path is never straight.
Yeah. Like, if you stay in something that's stagnant or something that isn't lighting you up anymore, then you aren't going to be able to help somebody else. You're not going to be happy to get out of bed every day. You're not going to be able to do the things that is like, wow, I have purpose. I'm helping, I'm changing. It's with EXP, like, I love being a real estate agent. I love helping people, but I love helping other agents. Like, it lights me up when I see another agent grab that deal or sell their first home or write their first offer, and I know I helped them get there. I had an agent the other day, she was jumping on one of our mastermind calls, and she said, literally, I have been a real estate agent for 4 years, and I have worked in this brokerage and worked with these agents, and I don't feel like I've learned as much from them in 4 years as I did from one call with you, Jenn.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that was like,
I feel that's
yeah, it was amazing. And I don't make money off of her. I don't like, but there's a system, and my plan is, you know what, I'm always going to sell real estate, but I can help other agents do it. And that's what drew me to EXP, because EXP, we're going to go into a little, now we're coming full circle, but EXP pays me to help other agents, and the agents don't have to pay me.
correct.
Like, let's talk about that. We're going to go full circle for 1 second. We'll finish with, because everybody thinks EXP is a pyramid.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks EXP is a pyramid.
Is. There's always someone at the top. Doesn't matter if it's a real estate company or a Coca-Cola company or a Walmart company. They're all pyramids. There's always a point at the top, and there's always people at the bottom.
So
the thing with EXP is our triangle's real tiny.
Yeah, and I don't actually see it as a pyramid if I look at brokerages. If I look at brokerages that I've worked for in the past, when I work at, we'll call it ABC Realty, so I'm not picking on anyone, but let's say I work at ABC Realty, that brokerage, I go in and I work there, I have to give that brokerage money.
Yes, you do.
I have to give them a lot of money, actually, to be a part of it. And the only difference is is that brokerage, that broker owner is the one that is making that money. Normally they're not selling real estate and they need to make money themselves, not slamming it. However, with EXP, they're taking that money that everybody has to give to EXP. Yes, we all have to pay and they're taking half of that. Okay, so, hey, we have to give 16,000. There's no, our split is 80-20 until we give 16,000. 8,000 of that goes back to the agents that are supporting the other agents.
It's wild.
The agent that's coming on board isn't paying me. Yes, there's teams and there's other ways that you might have to pay. But if you just want to be an independent agent and work at EXP and you have somebody helping you, you're not paying that person. EXP is doing that, which is wild to me because it's like all the money stays in the agent's pocket to be able to grow their business and their brand how they want.
Mm-hmm.
And EXP says, hey, thanks, Jenn, for helping these people. We're going to give you a little piece of the pie.
Yeah.
It's the exact same.
Yeah.
Except it's going to all the agents instead of they're only taking half.
Yeah. I think when people think of it in terms of a pyramid, they think of it in terms of a negative pyramid scheme, as opposed to it's just a structure of a corporation. To be honest, my corporation is a pyramid too.
Yeah.
Jenn is at the top.
Yeah.
And that is just the way businesses are structured. The difference here is that typically we think the money is flowing from the bottom to the top, which it is. But to your point is once it gets to the top, it comes back down.
Yeah.
And there is no other brokerage that I know that's really doing that at the level that EXP is.
Yeah.
And if we're out there and we're working our butts off and we're selling a lot of houses and we're helping other agents and we have amazing supports and our company is paying us,
and
this is a no-brainer.
Want to see other agents win?
Mm-hmm.
It's such like a positive, like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
In any direction you want to go. Like,
yeah,
there's so much possibility. And I would say positivity. Yes, there's days that there isn't. I get that in every job.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like, I truly believe that I can go anywhere with EXP. And I've never felt that with any company I've worked for.
Mm-hmm.
Being in sales, traveling, doing all of the things, being in the spa industry, being in the fitness industry, all of those things, I always felt like, okay, there's no next level.
There's a ceiling everywhere.
There's a ceiling everywhere.
Yeah.
Or it just didn't seem reachable. Maybe the ceiling wasn't there. Maybe my mindset has shifted with age and the belief patterns are different too. But I just didn't see it the way I see it with this company. And I think the positivity, the collaboration, the kindness, even the managing, I could call anyone, the top producing agent to somebody who joined tomorrow, and they're all going to help.
And the training.
There's
no way we can even possibly keep up.
What did
with
they say?
The training, 80 hours a
There's
week.
80 hours a week of live training.
Yes. At EXP Rally, my jaw hit the ground. Live training, 80 hours a week. You can log on and do training. Like that's
imagine how many hours of like recorded trainings there are.
Yeah. Like
if we're
EXP
pumping out
University.
60 to 80 hours a week of live, and you know that probably most of that is probably being recorded, like how much is in the archives? How much great information is accessible to us in EXP World at the tip of our fingers, in our living room, anytime, anywhere. It's honestly, it would be like drinking from a fire hose. You could not take it all in.
Your resources that are there, like it's just unbelievable. Everybody sharing, like the top, like Justin Harv, he was like the biggest Remax agent, I think, in all of Canada. Don't quote me, but he was a really big deal. Came and he's sharing his tips.
Yep.
Like you could go and watch videos, and like there's so much there that it's just like everybody is willing to share. Everybody is willing to give. Everybody's willing to help.
You can't fail.
You can't. You can stumble, you can fall, you can learn, and you start rebuilding. Mm-hmm. And I really think without failure, it's not really failure. It's a lesson.
Learning opportunity.
Yeah. sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And that learning stepping stone is the next thing to make you bigger. And when you're learning or failing, it's uncomfortable, but it gives you the growth to your next step. And with RevShare and Agent Attraction, to be able to join a company and know that you have all of EXP World, EXP University, but you also have agents under you that EXP is paying to help you grow. And if you don't do well, they don't get paid. You're winning.
Mm-hmm.
You're winning.
Yeah. I love that Leo Perea, who's our CEO, I think he says it perfectly, because your definition of success and your why is different than Amy's and different than mine. But this company that we are owners of, this company allows us to fulfill our dream, no matter how big or small it might be.
Yes.
Is that we offer the ability, the tools, and the support for everyone to achieve their dream.
Yeah, like, let's not get wrong. Like, you work your butt off and you work
I
a
got big
lot,
dreams.
but you got big dreams.
Yeah.
I work more than I have ever worked. I'm sure you're the exact
Mhm.
same way. We all are very hard workers, but not everybody has to choose to work like we work.
Absolutely.
They can go in and chase their dream, however big or small,
Yeah.
but all of the tools, all of the reasons, and it's all for free just because you're part of it. Like,
Yeah.
here you go. Take some time and
There's
study.
nothing we don't have.
There
We can
isn't.
help you with your taxes if you want.
That is my new favorite thing. Taxes they will hold.
They'll withhold your taxes.
They'll
now.
withhold your taxes now and your HST.
Yeah, please do.
Please.
Sign me up.
Take it. And then come tax time, I feel like I'm getting something back instead of, like, that is
Mhm.
huge. The fact that we get paid within 24 hours, huge. Like, I had a lawyer call me last week and was like, with Canada Post, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm like, well, send it via Purelator or something. I was like, well, that could take longer. Like, do you want me to just drop it off at your office? I'm like, no, I've already been paid on it. He's like, what? I haven't sent in the check yet. And I was like, no, EXP pays you before, as long as the lawyer confirms that the deal is closed, you get paid. Thank you.
No, literally no other brokerage.
No other brokerage. Like, that was jaw dropping for me. I waited months.
To get paid before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or the awkward when you got to go in and pick up the paycheck because we're still working in the Stone Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was,
Fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. No,
Oh.
we could sit here forever and talk about how great EXP is. I just wanted to get you guys on as experienced agents, the uncomfortableness of being a realtor, the good, the bad, the ugly. We could probably talk. I'm going to have you guys back on.
We could have 12 million podcasts just
Yeah. Yes. But I think we should have you guys back on, and this was just kind of like let's sit down, let's talk, let's figure it out, let's do it. But we'll have you guys back on and we'll have a little bit more of a plan or a structure, or maybe we could call out to the audience and say, what questions would you like answered?
Oh,
And we got to get our mic on sooner because we already had a session before.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting around the conference.
Once we start, get the mic on.
Yeah, exactly. We said that. We should have been mic'd up an hour ago.
the whole time.
Yeah. Well, there's some things we have to keep confidential.
Mhm.
They only get that information if they join us.
Yeah, you got to come sit with us at the table
Yeah.
for that talk.
Exactly.
And honestly, there's so much room at the table.
Yeah.
I think people will think it's not for them because we're not for them, or that there's already enough of them, or there's too many of them. And I think that's the biggest load of BS. The pie, the real estate pie is like beyond Costco size. Like there is so much to be had and so much to be shared. And honestly, there is nothing better than sharing it with your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We'll have you guys again.
We love it.
Thank you for spending this time with us. If anything from today's conversation stayed with you, let it. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, and sometimes it's simply just choosing to keep going. Wherever you are in your journey, whether things feel heavy or hopeful, or somewhere in between, you're not behind and you're definitely not alone. Take what you need from this conversation, leave the rest, and trust that everything will be okay. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. I am Jenn Lamont, and this is Uncomfortable Growth.